I travelled westwards along the Windlatter Pass in the Lake District, which links Braithwaite to the west of Keswick with High Lorton to the south of Cockermouth. To the north, the pass is flanked by Whinlatter Fell, while to the south, the Whiteside, Hopegill Head and Grisdale Pike Fells border the pass. Nearing the end of Whinlatter, I decided to take a small detour along a path to a place I had visited many years previously. After my steep descent into the valley, I followed the path beside Aiken Beck as I headed towards the main place I wanted to see on this detour. I visited Spout Force on a walk previously. I'm talking about 25 years ago on a much earlier visit to the lakes. So I wanted to come back this morning just to revisit it. But now I've done the hardest part of my walk today, I can now chill out more and do a much more gentle walk from now on. I began to retrace my steps along the path through the lovely forest beside Aiken Beck. However, instead of following exactly the same route to where I had parked my car, I carried on down the path towards Scoregill Bridge. Well, that was very pleasant indeed. But just before I go on to my next main location for the day, I'm going to drop down into High Lorton. At the western end of Whinlatter Pass, I dropped down into Lorton, a village made up of two small villages, Low Lorton and here in High Lorton. Both are nestled at the northern end of Lorton Vale, surrounded by the mountains such as Grassmore, Hopegill Head and Whiteside. Lorton is relatively untouched by tourism, although many tourists pass through on the way to the Buttermere Valley. The village consists of 114 households in total, along with a small primary school, a church, a post office and a tennis club. There is also an award-winning pub, the Wheat Sheaf, with the owners having run the inn for over 10 years. It has achieved notable awards in food safety. Moving on from Lorton, I eventually arrived where I was planning to do my main walk for today. Well, I've arrived at today's main location. This is Loweswater. Loweswater is one of the less touristy parts of the Lake District, and is much quieter than the neighbouring lakes of Crummock Water and Buttermere. There is, however, a popular lakeside path which goes right round the lake. The immediate vicinity of Loweswater consists mainly of rolling hills, in contrast to the Rocky Mountains found elsewhere in the Lake District. The group of fells to the south of Loweswater is known as the Loweswater Fells and consists of Melbrake, Gavel Fell, Blake Fell, Hencoombe and Burnbank Fell. To the north of the lake lies the Fellbarrow Range. I began my walk. Straight away I had fine views across the lake to Homewood on the opposite slopes, and ahead of me was the distinctive outline of Melbrake. I'm finding it really nice just now. It's peaceful and quiet. All I can hear are the birds singing. I've hardly met a soul today, which is a bit of a surprise. I mean, I know that Loweswater is meant to be one of the quieter areas in the Lake District, but I am still surprised I've not seen more people than I have, bearing in mind that kids are off this week, with it being Bank Holiday week. However, I'm not complaining, because it's really nice to get away from the really busy parts of the Lake District at the moment. As I passed the end of the lake, Melbrake reared up in front of me. Here I turned off along a narrow lane and headed towards the opposite side of the lake. As I reached the shoreline, I looked up the lake, where ahead I could see the much lower, gentler and greener hills, which gradually merge into the coastal lowlands. After what I said earlier about it being peaceful and quiet, I've seen quite a few people on this side of the lake. I knew I should have kept my gob shut. Never mind, I'm not complaining. It's still a fantastic walk here beside Loweswater. After passing Watergate Farm, I entered the lovely Homewood, from which there are the most attractive views across the lake to Loweswater Fell. I am seeing a lot more people now as I continue beside Loweswater. But despite what I said earlier when I was on the other side of the lake, talking about the peace and quiet, it's nice to do a walk where you don't see another soul, but I wouldn't want to do that all the time. I do like to see other people around. I wouldn't like to do a walk every single time and not see anybody. And it's nice to see other people enjoying the Lake District as I am. I continued on through Homewood, following the lakeshore path. Someone I've just passed is a young lady walking her dog, and she was really nice. As we were passing each other, she said, "Hello, how are you?" And I said, "Hi, I'm fine, thanks, how are you?" So we stopped and spoke for a while. And as I say, she was really friendly. She was telling me a little bit about herself. She lives and works fairly locally. And I was telling her about the fact that I do most of my walks by myself. And she said, well, she does too, but she's only comfortable doing a walk once she's done it with someone else first. So, for example, if she was doing this walk that I'm doing now, she would need to do it with a friend first. So I could completely understand where she was coming from. She was really friendly. I just wish we had longer to talk, really. But she had to get on and I've got to finish my walk, but I could have quite happily spoken to her for longer. By this time, I had reached the far end of the lake. As I headed towards where I had parked my car, I had one final superb view to the right, looking down towards the far end of Loweswater, dominated by the peaks of Melbrake and Grassmore. My walk was finished, so I drove up the road to Loweswater village. It lies between the lakes of Loweswater and Crummock Water, and is overlooked by the peak of Melbrake. The village church, dedicated to St Bartholomew, was built in 1827 and restored in 1884, although there has been a place of worship in the village since the early 12th century. Near to the church is the popular Kirk-style inn, where I ended my day doing one of the things I enjoy most. Oh.